So I am joined by Mr. Elchin Amirbayov, who is assistant to the first vice president of Azerbaijan. Mr. Elchin, thanks a lot. And I just wish to know that what is the situation in Ganja city. There are reports that there has been some attack by Armenian forces as claimed by Azerbaijani media that there are attack in Azerbaijan city and which resulted heavy losses. So what is the actual situation in Ganja? Mr. Elchin.
Yes, thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me. Let me respond to your question by saying that this night, early in the morning, at 1 o'clock in the morning on the 17th of October, the armed forces of Armenia have launched ballistic missiles attack from the territory of Armenia to Ganja, which is the second biggest city in Azerbaijan. And as a result of this treacherous attack, a cowardly attack, because it was done in the night hours when people were sleeping, the attack hit the residential quarters of the city, and we have lost, as of now, as we speak, the casualties are 13 people dead and more than 40 people wounded. And we are talking about civilian population, which has been targeted specifically and deliberately by Armenia, because I should tell you that Ganja city is far away from the zone of conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh, and it is 80 kilometers away from the line of contact.
Mr. Elchin, Mr. Elchin, but Armenia is denying that they are targeting the civilian population of Azerbaijan. Do you have any proof that it was a ballistic missile attack by Armenia? Do you have any such proof which proves that Armenia is hitting the civilian population? Go ahead.
Let me tell you that as a matter of fact, this is not the first attack on Ganja. The attack on Ganja by ballistic missile, the first one was on 11th of October. The whole world knew about it. We had all foreign journalists and diplomatic corps and defense attaches of all embassies accredited in Azerbaijan visiting the place on the 11th of October, and the damage was obvious. And we are going to do the same this afternoon. We invite all foreign journalists and diplomatic corps and defense attaches to visit the place, and we will demonstrate with proofs that this is the attack, a war crime by Armenian leadership, the war crime of Prime Minister Pashinyan, who out of hopelessness and despair, because he is losing the war on the ground, he has chosen peaceful civilians as the target. He is a war criminal because according to Geneva Conventions of 1949, you cannot target deliberately civilian population. Ganja does not have any military objectives to be neutralized by Armenia. Ganja is a city which is far away from the zone of conflict. But nevertheless, Armenian Prime Minister decided to do the criminal act of collective punishment, and he decided to kill people while they are in a sleep. So this is cowardly attack, and this shows the sign of agony of Armenia, which is losing every day more and more territories, which has suffered lots of losses in life power and in the military equipment. And I think the day is not remote when Pashinyan, the Prime Minister, the criminal, will be translated into justice and will be held responsible for this crime against humanity. There is no justification for this kind of treacherous act when you are losing on the battlefield, but you have only courage enough to attack and to retribute or to revenge on peaceful sleeping population. So we expect that the whole international community will condemn this criminal behavior of Armenian Prime Minister and his government. All responsibility for the consequences of this attack, of course, will fall on the shoulders of the current political and military leadership of Armenia. Armenia is an aggressor state. Armenia illegally occupies 20% of Azerbaijani territories. It occupies Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 regions around Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenia has committed ethnic cleansing in these territories, and more than 1 million of Azerbaijani people have become refugees and internally displaced persons. And I think that Republic of India, as all the other members of international community, stand for the respect for international law, international humanitarian law, and the principles of territorial integrity and sovereignty of states. So what has Armenia done? It has violated territorial integrity of Azerbaijan, and since 1993, this aggressor state has been occupying more than almost 20% of our lands.
Okay, Mr. Elchin, there is a question that how Azerbaijan is going to respond, because you have just mentioned that Armenia has attacked Ganja civilian population, many have been killed. You are going to present the proof. So how Azerbaijan is going to respond in such a situation?
Well, first of all, I have to say that this is not the first attack on civilian population. As I told you just before, Ganja city has been attacked for 3 times. So tonight there was a third attack by rockets and ballistic missiles from the territory of Armenia. Armenia wants to regionalize the conflict and to involve third parties on its side, but they will fail because no one is going to support the aggressor state. Azerbaijan reserves its legitimate right for self-defense, and as we announced before, Azerbaijan has all the rights to neutralize legitimate military targets wherever they are. And if these military targets from which the attack was launched against peaceful population are located on the territory of Armenia, then there is no reason for us to stop from neutralizing those military targets in their territory. Because this is a provocation, the whole international community was warned by us that Armenia is going to provoke us to extend the geography of the conflict, to regionalize it, to bring in some new actors. But Azerbaijan cannot sit and wait when Armenia is brutally killing its innocent, peaceful civilian population. So it is our right to defend ourselves against any possible attacks of this kind. And those who did or command these attacks, of course, they will be punished, not only by international law, but also by what will happen on the ground.
Okay. Mr. Elchin, now there is a very important question about the role of Iran. In your opinion, what is the role of Iran in this conflict? How Iran is playing its card, and how this conflict, how the situation is getting, as the situation is getting worse day by day. So the role played by Iran, how the role played by Iran is shaping this conflict, in which direction it is going now?
Well, I should say that Iran is a big neighbor of Azerbaijan. It's a country, it's a friendly neighboring country with which we entertain very good relations. Iran, from the very start of this latest escalation, has made on an official level the statements which supported the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan and its legitimate struggle to restore the territorial integrity of our country. And of course, it should be mentioned that we have a long state frontier with Iran, more than 700 kilometers, and out of these 700 kilometers, 132 kilometers are under Armenian foreign occupation. Because if you look at the map, you will see that Nagorno-Karabakh, but also 7 adjacent regions of Azerbaijan, have been under illegal foreign occupation by Armenia since 1993. So Azerbaijan, as a result of this occupation, does not control a significant part of its frontier with Iran. Iran is obviously very worried by this flare-up of warfare. And of course, the president of Iran has been in touch both with President Aliyev and the Armenian leaders in order to call for the ceasefire. But Iran's position is very unequivocal. It supports Azerbaijani territorial integrity, and of course it welcomes any steps, legitimate steps by Azerbaijan to restore its territorial integrity, to resolve this issue of conflict, and that would, of course, contribute to the restoration of security and stability in the whole region of South Caucasus. And this is, of course, something which all of our neighbors want.
Okay. Mr. Elchin, my last question to you. So, in your opinion, how this war is going to stop? How? Is there any possibility that war is going to stop, or there is no possibility and it is going to escalate? What you assess from the ground situation?
Well, let me tell you that this conflict is being mediated by the so-called Minsk Group of OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. So there are 3 countries who are co-chairmen of the Minsk Group. So 3 leading mediators: United States, Russia, and France. These countries are seeking now to stop the violence. At the initiative of Russia, on the 9th of October, foreign ministers of Azerbaijan, Russia, and Armenia agreed on a humanitarian truce in order to stop fire and to allow some humanitarian measures and somehow to be able to negotiate the parameters of a ceasefire as such. But Armenia, having subscribed to this Moscow statement, they treacherously, of course, violated it. And like 5 minutes after this agreement went into force, Armenia restarted its military aggression against Azerbaijan, and they launched attacks on Ganja, on Mingichaver. They wanted to hit our hydroelectric power station. So they wanted to extend the geography of the conflict. They wanted, by treacherous and cowardly means, to render big losses among our innocent civilian population. That's why Armenia is not interested in the ceasefire. And of course, if they continue to try to regain back some of the territories that they have lost since 27th of September, when this last aggression of Armenia took place, of course, they will be losing even more territories, because Armenian army is completely demoralized. The leadership doesn't know what to do. They have cornered themselves into this situation. And now the behavior of Pashinyan is not only criminal, but very inadequate. So I call for the world leaders, the Russia, United States, and France, to bring Pashinyan to sense, because otherwise the consequences will be tragic for him and also for the Armenian people. And I think Armenian people should hold responsible Pashinyan for this criminal behavior, for the fact that he unleashed this military adventure, and as a result he has lost significant part of territories. Just now President Aliyev announced that the glorious Azerbaijani army has liberated the city of Fizuli. So Fizuli is back Azerbaijani, as well as all the other territories which are still under Armenian control. All of them will be back in Azerbaijani control, because we don't seek any other's territory. We just want to clean up our territory from Armenian aggressors. And the day is not far when Shusha, Khankendi, Aghdam, and all other occupied Azerbaijani towns and cities will be liberated, and we will again see Azerbaijani flag, proudly waving in those Azerbaijani cities.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Elchin. Thank you for talking to us and for sharing your views. Thanks a lot.